So moving ahead, we'll take forward our next duo. So we have Captain Rajesh Trehan, who will be there onto the hot seat, and their conversation ponders upon anchored in stories. He's a retired merchant navy captain after sailing for more than 40 years. And now he's the director of alliances and partnership with Shulni University Solon. He settled in Ambala and is the Gandhi Memorial College was started by his grandfather in Ambala. So he's taken forward the anecdotes put forward by his grandparents into empowering people into the field of education. Most welcome, sir, on the stage. And with him we have our very lovely and very vivacious Swarn on the cool seat. She's an internationally acclaimed best-selling poet and author, and I love her for the fact that she's always smiling. I hope I can take forward likewise with you onto the smiling touch. Please, may we have you there on stage?
Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. I'm going to be smiling a lot today. So with me on the stage, in the hot seat is the very debonair and suave Captain Rajesh Trehan. And as they told you, his family came across from Rawalpindi and settled in Ambala Cantonment. So what is it that made you want to be in the Merchant Navy? That's my first question right away.
It's a very... I'll try and put it in correct perspective of words. I grew up in Ambala, which is an army and Air Force base, basically. So I only knew about Air Force and army, studying in an Air Force school.
Yeah.
And of course, growing up, school in the 9th or 10th, somebody asked me, "Kya karega?" I said, "Dunya dekhoonga." I had no inkling about merchant navy. I had done my C certificates, then those days graduation, and I would have gone to the Air Force Academy. So I was just 4 months left from graduation, and one gentleman came to the house, known to my father, having dinner. "Kya kar rahe ho?" My graduation. "Kya karoge?" "Air Force pilot banunga." Because that is what all I knew about it. He didn't say anything. He went to Bombay and sent a letter to Dad. We went to Bombay. 16 years old, I was very happy. Late Mr. Balraj Sani was married to my grandfather's sister, so I thought, unke ghar rahenge, actresses milenge, that type of a thing. And when we walked into this office, he turned out to be the owner of the shipping company. And 15 days later, I was on a ship.
Wow.
And then it's 40 years.
Wow.
So that is what destiny was, and how it connected, that time somebody asking me, "Kya karega?" I said, "Dunya dekhoonga." And I had no inkling because we never knew what was merchant navy in 70s in North India. So that is how it
Wonderful,
happened.
thank you. Yes, destiny did play a part, and I can imagine all the one-eyed pirates you would have seen on the high seas and in the stormy, rough, choppy times. So that leads me to ask you, we all wonder, when you're away at sea for so long and, it's really lonesome, just the ocean and you guys. So what is it when there is no way to navigate? How did you guys navigate?
Yes, that's also a good question because my time, I would say I was the Marco Polo of this time. Because we had no equipment. The only thing available was a compass, a radar, a sextant, and an echo sounder. Once we set sail, we are on our own at the mercy of nature. So one thing I've learned was survival and never go against nature. As a sailor, I would say that. So we would sail out, and the only thing we had was the star, sun, moon. At given times, with a sextant, we would bring, horizon is a very good line, just like this table is now. So that is what the horizon looks like. So we measure the angle of the heavenly body above the horizon and get into the tables, and we could find the direction of that object and the distance from it.
Wow.
So we would take 2-3 objects. I could, that time is even now I can see the stars in daytime also. Not because, let's say, I'm married. It was inborn. drink from the merchant navy.
That's a good one.
So we would find the position line, and normally the position line would be 90 degrees to the direction of that object. And at noon time, we used to take another site. You see the sun going up and coming down, but we could see when the sun is rising and when it is setting on the horizon. Means you could see the sun going up, and at a particular time it would just dip, and we had to mark that time and that angle, and that would give another position line. So we would cross these two lines. So where they cut was the position. Now, unfortunately, if it was cloudy weather or storm, we were at the mercy. Marco Polo, I said. So we would go by dead reckoning, and there were incidents where I was supposed to reach at a particular time, and I was not there because we did not get sight. So then these equipments, we would, put the ship in a particular direction to see if we can get the depths of the water somewhere sounding. And then we would use our, knowledge and navigate the ship. So it was a very tricky situation because no communication, no GPS, nothing. We were like Marco Polo.
Thank you, Marco Polo, for sharing all those wise things with us. मतलब तारे आपने दिखाने तो क्या है किसी को? You had to see the taras to find your way, and सूरज हुआ मध्यम, all of that. Yes. So, Captain Trehan, would you like to share with us a particular story which still gives you goosebumps or the jitters when you go back and remember it? And, maybe I'm sure the audience would love to hear that. You'd be full of them, but one particular one which comes to mind.
There are plenty of them because we were on the mercy of the weather. And my time, there was no way we could, get these weather reports. So we had to predict our own way, where the storm is and what it is going to do. So it is like this, when a storm starts brewing, the temperature starts rising, the barometer will start falling, and the wind speed will start increasing. And in an open sea, the rule is called Bayes Ballot law. When you face the direction of the wind in northern hemisphere, the storm is 90 degrees to you. So as the wind increases, you know you are getting near the center of the storm. So I'm just explaining about the storm.
That would have been my next question actually.
Okay.
Maybe the story first.
The story was connected to this. I was in Port Blair. We discharged cargo for the Navy, and then I was to go to Haldia to pick up ATF for Chennai. And our oil, I was an oil tanker basically master because oil was the in thing those days. So it was a very time bound thing because the refinery was going dry. So I thought I'll cut across from Port Blair to Kolkata. But as I started, I realized there's a storm brewing up. So I thought I'll just, it's just north of Port Blair, I'll cut across. And about 12, 16 hours later, I realized the wind is picking up, so there is some problem. And this Bay of Bengal is a very small area. The storm travels northwest and then recurves northeast. That is why most of the storms, if not hitting Paradip, Calcutta, goes towards Bangladesh. So I realized this storm is going to turn. Things were happening. Now, what to do? So we have to avoid the center of the storm. If the storm is going like this and turns like this, this is still the dangerous circle, and I would have been in that. So I had to alter my course towards Vishakhapatnam. But 36 hours, I was standing as a master. It's your responsibility. I was standing on the bridge for 36 hours, and that time everybody is looking up to you. Nobody will say anything.
That was very sweet of you to share these little intimate family things with us. Thank you for a very sweet session, and if anybody in the audience would like to ask anything, we're open to the man from the high seas. And of course your drone. If anybody
Yeah,
wants to,
there is
he
another-
trains pilots for drones.
There-
If anybody wants to ask about that.
Major General Mandeep Singh here, been associated with him, who's bringing drones into the Tri-City. And they will be, you can get trained and you can get a pilot, DGC approved for 10 years. And anything other, whatever work and all that.
Oh, you train those pilots, right?
Yeah, so that will be now shortly
So
taken.
that's very fascinating, gentlemen. The high seas, the open spaces. Thank you for a very nice session.
College, we are still there and doing whatever we can for the society. Thank you very much.
Thank
It was
you.
Thank you,
Lovely
thank
being
you
here.
so much. Our very own Marco Polo of the evening. So thank you so much, sir, for letting and knowing what all you've been through towards your leadership journey as a sailor.